We're live. Good. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome to tonight's webinar. You've got me tonight because Sue's had so much trouble getting the webinars to work that she decided I should play the game instead of her. So you have me tonight instead of her. I'm going to cover quite a lot of ground. Tonight. Oh, Sue's just telling she's on the other system. She's not actually abandoned me entirely. She's actually keeping an eye on the chat room so that she can field any questions you might have, and also tell me who's on, which is really helpful because I don't normally provide that function because I'm not very competent at this game, as you probably already know. Anyway, so I'm just going to wait a little while, another minute or so before we crack on, just to get a few more people on, because I literally opened the room at 8 o'clock, which worked successfully, amazingly. Just to let you know that we're in sunny Spain. It's actually been quite nice down here the last day or so. Warmed up a lot today. I know it's unusual to talk about the weather, but you know, that's a British thing. Although we keep up with what's happening in the UK, it doesn't look too great there right now. Anyway, I'm not going to drag this out, so I'll start sharing my screen and crack on. And anybody else joining us can. Oh, Sue's just saying. Oh yes, could you just let me know if you can hear me all right by just putting that into the chat room box and saying yes, you can, or if not, then you won't know, so we'll respond accordingly based on whether there are any comments or not. So now I'm going to share my screen. And hopefully you can all see that. Yep, Sue's nodding at me, great stuff. Okay, so tonight I'm going to do a bit of an update. I've got quite a number of slides to go through, but I also want to cover a little bit of ground about team activity, because you know this is a business about teams. You're not in this on your own, and one of the key things that we always talk about is when you're working this as a business, you always work through towards the next event. And I'm going to talk about events a little bit just to crack on, and then we'll talk it from there. First of all, just a very quick recap on the last couple of weeks. Those of you who know that we were in Lisbon last weekend. Sorry, the weekend just before the one just gone. This weekend just gone, there was another Discover Jeunesse in Rome. 1,000+ people there, just giving some idea of the sort of momentum that's building across Europe. And to put that into context, Europe is the latest market that Jeunesse has really started to invest in and is seeking really significant distributorship across the whole of Europe. I've never known, in all the years that Sue and I have been in networking, I've never known or witnessed a company approach the European market like Jeunesse is doing. Every other one that we've seen in that sort of 25 years, as I say, has been relatively half-hearted. They've really let the market find its own level. They've treated it very much as an extension of the US, because vast majority of companies that come here are US based. And they've missed the point completely about, you know, Europe is made up of, well, in the European Union at the moment, 27 countries. I won't go into whether Britain exits or not, but it could be down to 26. It may stay as 27, all depending on what's decided. But they have approached it not only in an incredibly professional manner, they've actually given a lot of incentives to attract people, networkers in particular, to come across and join the excitement. And as many of you know, the company's hit a very significant milestone at the end of last year. Coming up again in the next weeks and months, lots more distributor meetings going on. And of course, we're working towards the April Jeunesse event in Rome again. So let me just come back to that a bit later. There were some new packages specifically announced in Rome, and this is actually part of this market building exercise that Jeunesse is going through right now. They're designing these things to help you kickstart business development, because that business development in turn does two things. One is it increases the brand position of the company itself, and two is it generates income for you as distributors. It helps you to build your business alongside the people who are working with you to help you do that. So let me just talk about very quickly this ambassador variety package, which was launched, effectively creating a sapphire position for somebody. It's a significant package, but this is aimed at people who are looking to build organizations. But there's something very simple about the way this works. One is that it pre-qualifies you for a period of time. There's a lot of product here, as you can see. There is a wholesale value saving of 157 euros, which doesn't sound like much. But actually, when you take into account the shipping and the sapphire qualification, and the fact that you don't need to do your auto ship for the first 3 months, the total saving over the initial package price is actually 465 euros, nearly 466 in fact, which when you look at it in percentage terms is 25% of the total volume, the value. Now, anybody looking at a business opportunity here, seeing this for the first time, when you turn around to them and say, well, actually, this is a 25% discount over what you would pay if you bought the same product over the next period of time, then I don't know any businessman who would turn that down. I certainly wouldn't, because it makes sense to take the discount. And it tests one important thing when you make these offers to people. It tests about how serious they are. Now, I understand that not everyone has a couple of €1,000 in the pocket that they can put their hand into straight away. But if you time it right, even with a credit card, you can get 60 days of credit on it. And if you play that right, you'll have made the money back and more within that 60 days if you're doing the right things to share your opportunity. So this is for the significant business builder, the person who wants to really pick it up and run with it quickly. Another one that I want to pick up on too is the 1-year ambassador package. So you've got 2 varieties of ambassador package here. This is more money, but the savings even bigger. It's virtually 50%. Same kind of rules apply, but actually you get qualified as sapphire for a whole year. So there's no auto ship necessary. You save the auto ship volume over that period of time. The total saving is pretty much 1,450 euros out of a total purchase price of 2,800. So it's actually over 50% saving. So again, for the serious business builder, these are significant, sensible packages for people to take. They're doing this very simply because Jeunesse is determined to reach the next milestone it's setting for itself. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But these things are being put in place, and you will notice one of the things that they do is continually produce promotions to help you as distributors to acquire product at a significant price, but also to shoot for rank advancements, because the essence of success in any networking business is seeing people actually hit new ranks, because if they're hitting new ranks, there's bigger volume in their organization, there are more people in their organization, and with the way that the Jeunesse plan works, that number of people leverages up very, very quickly based on the binary system and the unilevel system that Jeunesse has actually, if you like, hybridized. I'm not going to go into the detail of that tonight. We'll do that on another call where we'll specifically talk about the plan itself and how it works. So let me move on a little bit. A couple of other things that just to remind you about. The special offer gift, skincare gift set, still available until the 1st of March, actually on the 1st of March, during the day there. Again, significant savings up until midnight. Well, 11:59 midnight, call it midnight, but it's 11:59 on the 1st of March itself. Second one, the Spring Zen gift package. If you haven't got this, if you're looking to manage your weight and enter the Zen shape program, which is Sue and I have been working now for about 5 weeks. I've gone down a belt size, and I'm on the way to a belt hole basically. I'm on the way to the second one now, and I actually haven't been doing very much exercise since we moved to Spain. Simply haven't had time actually, and I know that's no excuse, because exercise is a part of the package that you should actually do and do diligently, and I'm afraid I'm not very much right now. Anyway, savings again available, kickstarting and helping you to adopt to a new product and move yourself forward again. So Spring Beauty Bundle, again available till the 1st of March, 1 bottle of Luminesse, one box instantly ageless, CV's 40, it's not refundable. But again, you're saving a significant amount of money over the normal price. The company wants volume, it wants activity, it wants you to share these things. It's pitching these at a level that allows you to help people to try them, because there's no better way than trying things in order to enjoy them. Okay, coming back to Rome, or going to Rome. Sue and I are going to Rome on the 15th. Sorry, actually, we're flying in on the 14th. We're taking an extra day the day before on the 15th because this is of April, because we're going to take some time that day to do a bit of sightseeing. But there's a massive party taking place on the evening of the 15th, and we're going to be there. So instead of flying in and then rushing to try and get there, and you never know what might happen in between. So we thought we'd give it an extra day. And we're going to be there 14th and then through until the 17th. I can't emphasize enough how important these meetings are, how important the big meetings are in particular. And the reason for that is I don't know whether any of you ever go to sports events, but it's the energy created by a big crowd is completely different to the sort of left brain energy you generate when you're working on your own, that you focus upon a particular issue you need to deal with, you get on and deal with it, but who's there to applaud and say, well done? Who's there to encourage you when times are hard? Those sorts of things you get from a group dynamic. And it's that sort of tribal instinct, the sort of thing that you get from a really well-attended, vibrant, energetic meeting like the ones you find at Jeunesse University. The one we went to in Paris was remarkable. Again, Sue and I have huge experience in this industry, as you all know. We've seen loads and loads of presentations, big ones, big, well-attended ones. Jeunesse do them unbelievably well, from entertainment to trainings to really great stories and testimonials, fantastic product testimonials in particular, and lifestyle testimonials too. People who've come from very little to really big incomes in a relatively short period of time, totally transforming lives. That energy you don't get sitting at home or picking up the phone, going out and visiting people. You only get it with a group dynamic. So what I'm really saying here is get yourself to Rome. If you can't come to Rome, get to the one after that. They're run pretty much every 3 to 4 months-ish. It all depends on how much activity is going on. Last one was Paris. This one's Rome. It'll be another capital city somewhere in Europe. Maybe it might even be London, because the UK is currently the 4th or 5th biggest market for Jeunesse in Europe. So it's got a significant presence already. And these events are exceptionally good. So we're taking people from here, people coming from Spain with us. There are people coming from the UK as well. We'll have people there from Germany and other parts of Europe. So our group is growing quickly right now, and we'd love you guys to come. If you can make it, you should be there. The energy you'll find in it, and the extra faith it gives you, and understanding is really good. Let's just talk about that number I was talking about a little bit earlier. Jeunesse is the fastest ever direct sales company to hit the $1 billion in 1 year, 1.1 in fact. And that's an amazing achievement for a company with only 13 products. Now, that's not been artificially created. You don't get to $1 billion by pushing stuff into the market that essentially doesn't do anything, that doesn't work, and people continue to rebuy. It just doesn't work like that. So the 13 products that Jeunesse have are feeding it for people who are buying again and again and again and again. And all done in 6 short years. And there is a lot, as I've mentioned earlier, as to the reasons for that. It's a fantastic plan. The products are great. They work. The company's committed to developing its markets, creating a global brand, and helping distributors to completely transform their lives. You should be proud to be involved. This is a business like no other I've ever seen. And I don't think we're likely to see its like. Certainly not again in my networking career. I certainly won't be moving anywhere else. This is a remarkable story that's been achieved so far. I'm not going to go through these numbers. it stands for itself. 6 years. So many of these other companies that have been now household names took a very long time to reach that milestone. And okay, you can say that historically that's not overly surprising, given the fact that 1 billion used to be a very big number, and the global economy has moved on in such a way as to make it not such a big number in relative terms anymore. But actually, when you look at the numbers of people, the numbers of countries, the numbers of new distributors coming on all the time, the numbers themselves across the board, whatever way you measure this, have been record breaking, regardless of the fact that it's hit the $1 billion+ mark already. Next goals to the company's quite clear about where it wants to end up. It wants to be the #1 company in the industry globally. That means it has to take on Amway and Avon, who already have over 10 billion a year in turnover. So there's a long way to go yet. And here in Europe, we're still only a tiny fraction of what's going on. We're about 9 or 10% of the total marketplace. So our opportunity is now. It's the next 3 to 5 years where Europe in particular is going to grow exponentially. And this is your opportunity. All you have to do is decide to seize it. And that's really my message here is, you know, you can, we all have challenges with it. Let's face it. Nothing ever goes smoothly. Everything has some challenge or other. You hit brick walls, you know, it feels like it's not growing quickly enough, and so on and so forth. You just have to keep going at it to make it work. If you stop, guess what's going to happen? It isn't going to work. So let me talk about the beyond for a bit. More to come. Already been voted as the best business to be involved in by Direct Selling News. That's really it's the magazine commentary monitor of the whole direct sales industry. And let's just put that into context again for a second. Around the world, there are over 90 million people actually actively in some way or another involved in this industry. We're in network marketing. Of those, that 90 million has a business of approaching $200 billion globally now. Now, think about that 200 billion. That's the total market universe. It's all those companies like Amway, Avon, and so on, added together, put together and calculated to be, that's our industry size. Now, you think about that number, 200 billion, sounds like a lot. But actually, when you really look at it, it's not that much money. But when you look at it in global terms, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of overall global economic output. And my personal belief is that this industry, as the great leveler for so many people, is simply going to go on growing at a compound rate of somewhere between 6 and 10% a year from now and probably until I die, because it gives people an opportunity to change what they do, get themselves involved in something that gives them an opportunity to self-actualize, to realize their own dreams, in other words, to take themselves out of the paid-for trap, the money for, you know, the hours for pay, I can go into the statistics of that, but essentially, very simply, most people, if they lost their jobs, would be broke in 3 months. So this kind of industry we're in offers the opportunity for a safety net. You can build a business part-time that creates a full-time income, that gives you the option to dump your job. You know, that job that gives you, that pays the bills. Well, when the bills get overtaken by the part-time income, then that's the time to consider moving on out. Unless, of course, you're doing something vocationally that you absolutely love to do, in which case I'd encourage you to create something around that out of your Jeunesse income to make it even better for you. Let me move on. This is the year-end success promotion. Super easy to get started. It's very simple to think about here. Get started. In fact, I think everybody on this call is an existing distributor. If you are, then focus next on the next rank advancement. Jade, Pearl, Sapphire through these 2 months, because you're going to get paid to go there. That's the point. By doing the work, you get these bonuses, which I'm going to come on to in a second. You newly qualified personal group volume by sharing products with friends, family, and pretty much anybody you come across. 2 or more retail preferred customers during January to 29th of February, you get paid bonuses based on what rank advancement you achieve. And I'll just cover those quickly now. So how does it work? Jade, you and 4 executives. Effectively, that means that you have sponsored 4 other people, personally sponsored 4 people. Those 4 people have created 2 sponsorships themselves who have done 100 CV as well as their own 100 CV. So as long as you're generating 1,200 in group volume, then you earn a cash bonus of $250. Now, the good news is that the pound's much weaker against the dollar right now because of all this uncertainty about whether we're going to exit Europe or not. It's down to about 141 from 150 something at the back end of last year. So these dollars are getting more, their pounds are getting more for us. So, now's the time to do this stuff. And if you generate that much more in group volume from 1,200 up to 3.6, then you get a $500 bonus. So these are significant numbers. I think that's going to break down to somewhere around 250 would be, I can't work it out off the top of my head, 300, about 170 pounds, something like that. Pearl. In other words, look at this now, you've got 8 rather than 4, 2,400 group volume, $500 bonus. 7,200 group volume, $1,000 bonus. And going up to Sapphire, which is 12, then on a 3,600 group volume, earning a $1,500 bonus, and 10,800 is a $3,000 cash bonus. So you can see the company saying, come on, come on, come on. We're going to make these incentives available to you for the activity you undertake, for the work that you do, and the success that you begin to create for yourself. You can only get there if you continue to work at it. Many of you will have heard me say this before. The only difference that the highest paid person in Jeunesse and the person coming in as an associate today, the only difference between the positions they have is that the guy at the top of the tree has simply had lots more no's than the guy at the bottom. It's no different for anyone who makes their way through the ranks. You're gonna get the no's. You just have to accept them as part of the deal. And if you're only sharing with one person a week, those no's are gonna come slowly. And you're gonna go months without sponsoring anybody. If you're sharing with one person a day, you increase the time frame by a factor of 7. Just think that out. Instead of 7 weeks, it's 7 days. And if you're doing 2 a day, then it's another factor of 7. It just, the answer to this is obvious. You just have to share and share and share. The only thing you've got to really become good at is opening the door and talking to people. If you become a great inviter to sharing our opportunity and our product, you will end up wherever you want to in income terms. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You don't need to have done 7 years at university to become a doctor. You don't need to have done the same period of time to become an architect or gone through an apprenticeship over many years. Those sorts of things, you don't have to do that. You just have to learn to do something very simple. Invite people to share our opportunity, invite them to share our product. That's it. And then follow up. So things to remember. These are the steps, essentially. Always work to the next event. These next webinars, the meetings that we're holding, the meetings in the universities, the Jeunesse universities throughout Europe. The people who said no to you don't always mean no. They mean no, not for now. And the people who said yes to you did so for a reason. They had a reason why they decided to do this. Those reasons get lost in everyday life sometimes. They get lost in excuses that we make because we're not keen on doing stuff. Well, you have to learn the daily disciplines and do the daily discipline in order to create the result that you're looking for. You can sit and look in the mirror and say you're not working as long as you like, but until you take some action, it isn't going to happen. Work with your team. That's what we're doing with these webinars. These are for your people as much as for ours. In other words, your people are our people. We want that group dynamic taking place. We will continue running these until we get thousands of people taking part every week. Write down what you want. Revisit the reason you joined. Tackle the why, because that why has to be important enough to create the action that you need. And follow up on yourself. You can only be accountable to you. We can ask you the questions about what have you done today, but if you're not telling yourself the truth, then you're not telling us either. I'm not saying that's true. What I'm saying is focus on the daily activity. Focus on what you have to do to get to the next step. And here's something that I think is just so true. Care about what other people think, and you'll always be their prisoner, because you modify what you do, what you think, because of what they think or what you think they think. And that's a bad place to be in, because you should be a creator of your own future, the creator who determines where you're going to end up, rather than modifying what you're doing in order to please somebody else. Here's another one. I love this slide. I think this is just a work of sheer genius, that picture. It says it all, doesn't it? I'm not bossy. I have skills, leadership skills. Understand? Listen and hear. Listen and hear. Help. Don't do it for them. You know, if you go on doing it for them, essentially they don't do it for themselves. They never will. They can't become leaders if they're not doing it for themselves. Teach. Don't do it for them. Teach, teach, teach. Work with them, and work with them while they're earning, or while they're learning, because then they can earn while they learn. And it's when you know, working with with those people effectively generates more for you as well as more for them. But Zig Ziglar, I think, said, you know, you help enough people to get what they want, and you'll get what you want. And I think that's such a true thing for people to say. Walk the walk, do the work. In other words, talk the talk. You can talk the talk if you're walking the walk. And this is Henry Ford, the guy he revolutionized the world in his day. And he said, if my team would do what I've done today, would my team be successful? Long and short answer, I think he'd probably be yes. Let's move on. Sue and I are coming back to the UK in April. We're also coming back in May and June. We've got things to do in UK, so we've decided we're going to run a meeting on the 19th. It's free for guests. Distributors will pay £1 just to help us cover the cost of the. Sorry, £5 just to cover the cost of the room. Sue just corrected me on that. Did I say £1? I meant £5. Perhaps I meant $10. But we're going to do an opportunity meeting and a get started training just to show the basics. We're going to start at 7:30 prompt. It'll be at the Samuel Pepys Suite in the Mary Green Manor Hotel. That's in Brentwood in Essex. If you've got people in that part of the world that you'd like us to look after for you, that's great. I'd encourage you to be there if you can be. I know that, you know, you guys are spread all over the place, so it might be awkward for some of you. Sue and I will be running that meeting. Sue's phone number is there, as you can see. And I'm sure you've got a note of that. But if you haven't, I'm going to leave this slide up for a second or two just for you to look at it. And to make more of an offer, really. So I think the last time I got on the webinar, I got to speak. Which is unusual. I made an offer to work with anyone who wanted to use me as a sounding board for some personal development work to help you stay on track. Not so much, yes, in terms of Jeunesse functionality, right? Doing the things that create distributors and sales for you, but also to help overcome the fears of doubt you might have. I don't know whether you know or whether you realise, but I've spent a lot of time in that arena in the last 20 years in particular, working alongside Canary, facilitating the program. I trained as a hypnotherapist in order to help me do that with people more effectively. I can say that works extremely well. And I'm quite good at helping people focus on the things they need to change. And change is what we all need in terms of getting new results, because essentially if you go on doing what you do, and you'll go on getting the results you get right now. So I'm throwing this offer out there for any of you who'd like to take advantage of that. Then I'm very happy to help. I will help and guide you to reach your own conclusions and decide what it is you want out of your life. Because one of the things I've learned over these many years is that knowing that is the most important thing of all. It doesn't matter about anything else. If you don't know what you want, you can't be on a roadmap that gets you there. So the first thing you have to decide is where's your destination, and that can very often be extremely difficult to isolate. And that just very quickly, I'll say why. And that's largely because people's personalities are formed, 80%, certainly 80% of them are formed by about the age of 5. So you're living largely the kind of beliefs and habit patterns that began at that age. They're very difficult to change. It's possible, but you have to work on them in a way which helps to do that. And the beliefs we have about ourselves are also formed in those first 5 years, 5-6 years. And that becomes a subconscious set of habits that drives the activity and attitudes we have. The latter bit, determine largely what we end up with. And those of us who become circumstance, reflection of circumstance, have had that drilled into us in that first 5 years of life. So changing the way that programming actually works from that period to beyond is something that takes quite a lot of hard work. But it's first of all focusing what those issues can be, and I can help draw those things out because that's one of the things that I went to learn how to become a hypnotherapist, a hypnotist, if you like. Because hypnosis is one of those very powerful ways of drawing people out of themselves in order to isolate issues that you may not even realize you've got. So, put this into context. I'm happy to work with anybody that wants to make that deep level change and facilitate the discovery of what it is you really want out of your life. And if you want to do that, take a note of Sue's number on there. She's got her mobile. That number works here in Spain. You can always call us here, or call me on Skype. Nigel.Booth1 is my Skype name. And I'll just fire me a request to become an associate with you on Skype. And I'll obviously respond if I haven't got you already. So that's an open offer for anybody in our team. So hopefully some of you will take that up. Okay, I think I'm at the last slide of this show. There we go. That's the very last one. I'd encourage you all to work towards the next event. The 19th of April, and I are back. Doing another one in May or early June, because that's when we'll be back again. During that period, because we're back for the latter part of May through to the early part of June. So we're around for quite a long time, 3 weeks or thereabouts. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of traveling around and setting up more meetings so that we can help you guys to accelerate the growth of your businesses. We'll also know by then where the next university will be, which I'm expecting will be in probably sometime, but probably won't be until September. I'd be quite surprised if they run a midsummer one because of holidays and various things like that. But you never know. Jeunesse is growing at such a hell of a rate that they may well do, and it will be in a capital city somewhere. And if you book it right, you time it right, you can do it really cheaply, and we'll help you to try and access that lot as well. Anyway, I can rabbit all night. I'm not going to do that. I hope you found this evening useful. We'll be running another one next week. And we're going to be doing a special one on a new communications app that we've created, which I'll bring you up to speed with on an invite at probably towards the end of this week. Anyway, for now, thank you everyone for attending. I hope it's been valuable, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.